Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to Ashutosh coaching. Now today we are starting the chapter and the name is chapter is सेल एंड द यूनिट सेल को क्या बोलते हैं यूनिट ऑफ लाइफ भी कहते हैं सेल थ्योरी पढ़ेंगे सेल थ्योरी होता क्या है देखो स्लैडन एंड स्वान टुगेदर फॉर्मुलेटेड द सेल थ्योरी एंड द प्रपोज दैट द बॉडी ऑफ एनिमल्स एंड द प्लांट आर कंपोज्ड ऑफ सेल एंड द प्रोड्यूसर सेल product of cell. The Rudolf Virchow 1885 he modified and gives the final shape of the cell theory and all the living organisms are composed of the cell and the product of cell and all such cell arises from pre-existing cell. Prokaryotic cell क्या होता है? The bacteria are example of the prokaryotic cell and an example of E. coli general prokaryotic cell are those and do not have membranous boundary and nucleus in the fact prokaryotic and is a Greek before the nucleus. Beside the cyanobacteria, blue-green algae are the major group of prokaryotic and and there are few well distinguished internal structure in prokaryotic in the contrast to the multitude and of the distinct organelles in eukaryotic. Important point: all prokaryotic have a cell wall surrounded the plasma membrane and there is no well defined nucleus and chromosome is single defined and singular circular and not enveloped nuclear membrane and the presence of any of many say small and the circular and the extra chromosomal and self-replicable DNA called plasmid. Plasmid provide the unique character to the bacteria and one of the characteristic it is antibiotic resistant and no membrane bound cell organelles and the specialized differentiation forms of a cell membrane called called mesosome and is present. अब जानते हैं हम लोग सेल इन्वॉल्व एंड इट्स मॉडिफिकेशन मोस्ट प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल हैव characteristic complex cell envelope and the cell envelope consists of tightly bound three layer structure and outermost glycocalyx and the middle layer cell wall and the inner plasma membrane and according to the nature of the cell wall behavior towards the stain developed by the gram bacteria and the gram positive for the gram negative glycocalyx may or for a loose sheath is called slime layer and the glycocalyx may be thick and the tough called capsule. The cell wall determine the shape of cell and the strong structural support to the prevent and the bacterium from the bursting and the collapsing. The plasma membrane is a semi-permeable in nature and interact with the outside world and a special membranous structure in the mesosome and which is the formed by the extension of plasma membrane into the cell. The extension are in the form of vesicle and tubules, lamella and they help in the cell wall formation and the DNA replication and the distribution to the daughter cell. They are also help in the respiration and the secretion. Some bacteria have filamentous extension and called flagella and the bacterium flagellum have three parts filaments, spokes, hooks and nasal body and basal body. Peels are the elongated tubular structure and made up of special protein and the fimbria are small bristle like fibrous and sprouting out of the cell and play in an important role adhesion. Ribosome and inclusion body. Ribosome are associated with the plasma membrane of the soil and each ribosome 70S and has two subunits smaller and 30S and larger 50S. Okay, ribosome are the site of protein synthesis and the several ribosome attached to the single mRNA and to form a chain called the polyribosome and the or polysome. Dissolved material are stored in the form of inclusion body and the phosphate granules and the synophasion and the granules and the glycogen and the granules are the inclusion body. Eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic include all the protists and plants and the animals and the fungi. तो यूकैरियोटिक सेल के बारे में देख लेते हैं फिर से Eukaryotic cell include the protists, plants, animals, and fungi. Extensive compartmentalization and due to the membrane-bound cell organelles and the possessive and organized cell with the nuclear envelope and has a variety of complex locomotory and the cytoskeletal structure. Genetic materials are organized into the chromosomes and the plant cell possesses cell wall and plastid and a large central vacuole and which are absent in the animal cell. Animal cells have centrioles which are absent in the plant cell and cell membrane. The cell membrane composed of lipid and that are arranged in the bilayer, and the lipid are arranged within the membrane with the hydrophile polar head and towards the outer side, and the hydrophobic and tails towards the inner part, and the non-polar and tail of the saturated or the hydrocarbon is protected from the aqueous environment. The lipid component of the membrane mainly consists of the phosphoglyceride, and cell membrane also possesses the proteins, and the carbohydrate ratio of proteins and lipid varies and बोलते नहीं varies from from cell to cell, and the human erythrocyte plasma membrane contain 52% protein and 40% lipid, and the membrane protein may be integral and the peripheral protein lie on the surface, and the integral protein are the partially or totally buried in the membrane. And the improved model of the spatial structure of the plasma membrane and was the proposed by the Singer and Nicholson in 1972, widely accepted as a fluid mosaic model. According to this, fluid quasi nature of lipid enable the lateral movement of protein within the overall bilayer. फंक्शन क्या होता है इसका? पैसिव ट्रांसपोर्ट, सिंपल डिफ्यूजन, फैसिलिटेटेड एंड एक्टिव ट्रांसपोर्ट, एंड द फैगोसाइट exocytosis and the pinocytes. Cell, a non-living rigid and structural cell wall are present outside the plasma membrane of the plant and the fungal cell. The algae have cell wall made of the cellulose, glycan, and the mannose, and the minerals like calcium carbonate, and the plant cell consist of cellulose, hemicellulose, and the pectin and the proteins. The cell wall of the young plant is primary cell wall, and the on maturity or secondary cell wall formed inner to it. The middle lamella is a layer of calcium pectate which hold us or the glues the neighboring cell. The cell wall and the middle lamella may be transferred and by the plasmodesmata and the cytoplasmic connection between the two adjacent cells. Endoplasmic reticulum क्या होता है? Network or the reticulum of teeny tubular structure scattered by in the cytoplasm and called endoplasmic reticulum. It divides the intercellular spaces into two distinct compartments, and luminal and inside the ER and extra extraluminal मतलब इसको लोग साइटोप्लाज्म कहते हैं. ER shows the ribosome attached to their outer surface rough endoplasmic reticulum RER, and the endoplasmic reticulum are without the ribosome called SER, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Function क्या होता है? RER represent the cell activity and involves the protein synthesis, and the SER is the site of synthesis of lipid, glycogen, and the steroid hormones. Golgi apparatus क्या होता है? Camilo Golgi 1898 observed the organelles and the named after him, and it consists of many flat discs shaped and or crystals. These are the shaped parallel to each other, and the Golgi crystal and the concentrically and the arranged nuclear and arranged near the nucleus and with the distinct convex scissor and the formation phase and the concave transfer of the maturation phase. Function क्या होता है? Principle responsible for the packing material to be developed to be delivered intracellular in target to the intercellular target, and the materials are packed in the form of vesicle and from the ear fuse and with the cyst and phase and of the Golgi apparatus and the move towards the trans phase. Important site of the formation of glycoprotein and the glycolipid. Lysosome क्या होता है? Membrane bound vesicular structure and the formed by the Golgi body and rich in all type of hydrolytic enzymes and optimally active in the acidic pH, and these enzymes are capable of digesting carbohydrate, protein, lipid, and the nucleic acid. Vacuoles क्या होता है? Vacuoles is the membrane bound and space found in the cytoplasm, and it contains water, shape, and excretive product, and the vacuole is bounded by a single cell membrane and the tonoplasm. In the cell, vacuoles can occupy 90% of the volume, and the tonoplasm facilitate the active and the transport from the material and the cytoplasmic into the vacuole, and in an amoeba contractile vacuole is important for the excretion and the osmoregulation, and if in many protist food vacuoles are formed by the engulfing the food particles. Mitochondria क्या होता है? The number of mitochondria varies according to the physiological activity and वापस से दे दिया क्या वही चीज़? नहीं नहीं वापस नहीं है, वही चीज़ नहीं है, अलग है ये। वैक्यूल क्या? वैक्यूल द मेम्ब्रेन, समझिए क्या हो गया? वैक्यूल द मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड स्पेस एंड फाउंड इन द साइटोप्लाज्म, इट कंटेन वाटर, सैप, excretive product, and the vacuoles is found bounded by a single membrane called the tonoplast. And in plant cells, cell vacuoles occupy 90% of volume. Tonoplast and active transport and of the material from the cytoplasm into the vacuole, and in amoeba contractile vacuole is important for excrete and osmoregulation. In many protist food vacuole are found by the engulfing and the food product particles. Mitochondria, the number of cell are varies according to the physiological activities, and each mitochondria is a double membrane and the bound outer the inner dividing lumen and aqueous compartment. Outer compartment, inner compartment. Inner compartment is called matrix and inner membrane is called the including. कुछ तो मिस्टेक हो रहा है, एक मिनट एक मिनट एक मिनट। ये सब पढ़ा दिया था मैंने ऊपर में, दोबारा इसी को दे दिया हुआ है, ठीक है? ये भी हम लोग पढ़ चुके होते हैं। So guys, this chapter has been finished completely and watching video, and thanks for watching video till the end. And guys एक बात ध्यान रखो, ये सारा जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ वो पिछले चैप्टर में भी कंबाइन था, ओके? तो आप उसको पिछले वीडियो में देख के, यानी कि जो चैप्टर नंबर जो सेल के बाद जो हमारा वो था बायोमोलिकुल्स, उसमें ये बहुत सारा चीज़ मैंने बता रखा है। सो आप वहाँ से देख के इसी को जान सकते हैं। बाय एंड सी यू नेक्स्ट वीडियो।